Welcome to the virtual middle school speech and debate showcase. My name is Hannah Snyder, and I'm a senior at the Harley School in Rochester, New York. My involvement in speech and debate started back in fifth grade when I participated in congressional debate after being encouraged to participate in a competitive speech and debate tournament by my public speaking teacher. Since then, I joined the Harley speech and debate team and have competed in public forum, Lincoln Douglas debate, which has been my main event for my 4 years of high school. And then lastly, I had the opportunity to compete on the 2019-2020 USA Debate Development Team in World Schools Debate, which is an international style debate competition.
Hello, my name is Kendall Burno. I currently attend McQuaid Jesuit High School, and I'm a junior there. I started doing speech and debate my freshman year. That's the year I came to McQuaid. And I really started it with the class. It looked like it would be easy for me to do. But as I started doing it, I found out that I was pretty all right at it. And I just sort of ran with it. And now I'm the captain of my team. And yeah.
My name's Emma Raymond. I'm a junior at Our Lady of Mercy, and I started speech and debate the summer before my freshman year with a camp at McQuaid. And I've continued since then with public forum debate, Lincoln Douglas declamation, and I've gotten to debate at amazing tournaments in states and national competitions.
To explain a little bit about how this joint project between McQuaid, Mercy, and the Harley School started, I'm going to start with why I personally began to teach middle school students at Harley, which is how this entire project began. Having had years of public speaking and debate education, particularly in middle school, I noticed the extreme importance of having these skills taught from a very young age to help students develop into the best versions of themselves. Because of this, I decided, upon coming to Harley and noticing that there was a void of public speaking and debate education in the middle school years throughout the area, that I wanted to start this middle school teaching program myself. And so, because of that, I began teaching middle school students at Harley and consequently developed a curriculum portfolio of all of the lessons and activities that I used with the students that I worked with, and additionally developed a teaching handbook after about a year of experience being a student teacher for these students, which then with the curriculum and the teaching handbook was the perfect pair to be able to help other public speaking and debate student teaching programs start, which is what I thought was really unique about the program that we were working on developing. So because of this, I reached out to Emma and Kendall, who I knew through competing in public speaking and debate myself. And that's how this entire joint program started.
McQuaid Jesuit has almost always had a middle school speech and debate program, but before now it was always just an afterthought. High school students, if possible, would come in and talk about the importance of speech and debate rather than really teaching it to them. With Hannah coming in, we began to put together comprehensive lesson plans and activities that not only these kids will be able to do this year, but people will be able to do next year and the years to come. We believe that it's important to work on speech and debate because it teaches a lot of skills that will be helpful as you go on through your high school career and even your college career. And we think the younger you started in middle school, the better you'll be later on. Now, throughout this entire process, we had to have a lot of communication. All three of us are from different schools, so throughout the entirety of it, we would communicate and have meetings, talking about the issues we'd face and how to overcome them.
We decided to share all of the hard work we've been doing between all of these three schools, Mercy, McQuaid, and Harley, in this showcase. So we started this project, obviously, for the kids, for the middle schoolers to get experience with speech and debate, but we also want an opportunity to share it with you, the parents in the community. And hopefully it'll show you that through all the work we've done, these kids are all learning more or less the same thing, and hopefully they'll be able to work together. And hopefully other students in your families or in the community will be more interested in this club because it really is a great opportunity to improve public speaking and confidence in general. After working together on this big project, we've learned a ton about teaching and communicating, but we'd really love to share that this passion is something that we all share. And if you have something similar in your high school, we would strongly encourage you to go out and teach it and share it as a community because it's really such a great experience for everyone involved.
We hope you enjoy watching our students perform speeches and debates that were recorded throughout the year.
We're so proud of how far they've come.
And we can't wait to see how far they go.
Find a way to get the weapon illegally. So
39% of gun owners have no safety training, and training includes how to responsibly store, handle, use, and transport a firearm. Gun homicides in the U.S. are 25% times higher than the average, in other high-income countries.
In 2007, the Supreme Court ruled that in the Second Amendment, you do have the right to defend yourself with a gun.
Say you're a normal person that's not in militia and you're being attacked. How are you gonna defend yourself, or maybe help yourself not get hurt or scare the other person off?
So a gun isn't the only self-defense weapon.
So 0.9% of the time people actually defended themselves with a gun. So it is a very low percent that people actually use a gun too for self-defense versus attacking.
Each time we gather to inaugurate a president, we bear witness to the enduring strength of our Constitution. We affirm our promise of democracy. We remember that what makes us exceptional is not the colors of our skin, or the tenets of our religion, or the origins of our name. What makes us exceptional, what makes us American, is our allegiance to an idea articulated in a declaration over 2 centuries ago. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
But one thing that you want to think about when you're trying to figure out, was British colonization good or bad for India? Economically, at least, if you're thinking about it from that perspective.
No, I just said that.
Wait, first is my
I'll
answer questions.
No, we don't have. I don't know. What should this be?
Oh, you are.
Yeah, so we've got the economic and social detriment. What's another?
The literacy was quite bad. The British realized this and decided to create colleges as well for some of the older Indians that needed to be educated more. Better health system, roads. Yes, those are some benefits, but when they came there, they were not focused oh, we're gonna make this country a great country. They came to make their country a better country.
Three major evils: the evil of racism, the evil of poverty, and the evil of war. These are the three things that I want to deal with today. Now let's first turn to the evil of racism. There can be no gainsaying in the fact that racism is still alive all over America. Racial injustice is still the Negro's burden and America's shame. And we must face the fact that many Americans would like to have a nation which is a democracy for white Americans, but simultaneously a dictatorship for Black Americans. We must face the fact that we still have much to do in the area of race relations.
We believe that utilities should be fully covered by the government, especially the electricity and production of electricity, to make sure that they're following environmental standards. Both food and shelter should be kind of partially covered by the government. Food, if you can't afford food for yourself, you'll get some. It won't be very tasty food, but, it will be food that will sustain you. Shelter, if your income is below a certain rate, then you will get some money from the government to get yourself some shelter.
So for our idea of the government, we will start off that for private businesses, that if the business fails, such as it's going downhill and it's going to get into bankruptcy, the government will provide you aid to try to bring your company back up for, say, advertisement and other things. If it fails again, the government will give you a bit less aid, and by the third time, the government will just stop giving you aid. But this kind of resets every 30 years, so if it happens over, say, like a long period of time and short little cases of going close to being bankrupt, you can still get help.
So at a young age, I've always been a shy girl and never been able to open up really easily until I found soccer. And soccer has helped me in many ways learn skills, leadership, and team bonding. I've always known guys playing soccer, and it made me kind of like frustrated. Like, why? Why weren't there girls? And there are, but I didn't know. I wasn't aware. Until one incident I had was one guy came up to me and told me why was I playing soccer. Girls shouldn't play soccer. And it made me really frustrated. Like, who are you to tell me what I can't do? And soccer had helped me open up and improve in many ways, and I felt like I could honor soccer by speaking up for the girls who aren't able to play.
So gymnastics was definitely that one. I feel like it really like shaped who I was. It's like part of my identity at this point. Like, if you ask anyone, they'll be like, oh yeah, she's the gymnast. Another thing, it also like teaches obedience. You don't want to cheat because you know it'll hurt you in the long run, and you'll start to see it in other girls on your team, and it's like starts to become really obvious. Unlike school, because if you cheat and you get bad grades, those grades are private to you. You don't have to share them, so you don't feel like you're falling behind, even though you are. But in gymnastics, there's no secret. Like, you can see their performances. Their scores are like plastered on the walls. It's like public to everyone.
Olaf was one of the most memorable characters from the movie. He was likable, he was funny, he was short, he was cute, and he was also really sweet and charming. So he was most impactful to the audience and to the characters. In the movie itself, he helped Anna and Elsa connect. When they were little, he was the symbol that even though they were different, Anna had no powers and Elsa had these amazing powers, that they could still enjoy each other. They could still have fun with each other. And every time they would use Elsa's powers to have fun, they would make Olaf. He was their symbol that they could still give each other joy, even though they were different. When you leave that movie theater, you remember what he said, because he was just so funny and charming. And he made everyone happy. So that's why Olaf was the most impactful character in Frozen, because he was the most likable, memorable, and he helped Anna and Elsa face their fears.